Hello everyone, welcome to Nordograph's Cheeky Impressions. If a name that I'll come to hate, the same as I hate Show Me the Goods, but if Nando's can make the word cheeky have no meaning at all, so can I. This is an early look on Submerged. This game will be released on Steam on the 4th of August. There is some differences between the EU release on consoles. I think PS4 comes out on the 5th, and Xbox One comes out on the 7th on the EU. But I'm not so sure on that. This is a game developed by Uppercut Games. They're a company, an Australian company formed by ex-devs of BioShock. And I got code for this, and it looks really interesting. And it looks beautiful, so I decided to try it out. So let's first go into the graphics menu. I know I'm gonna pull a Total Biscuit on you. The game doesn't natively run at this resolution. I had to force it to run at this resolution by working on the INI. If I try to change it, it's gonna change the resolution, so I'm not gonna mess with that. But it does run at 1080p. I just don't want to run at that because it takes up my whole monitor and I need to see other stuff. And I don't have two monitors, so here are the options. As you can see, I'm not running everything at max. In fact, I should probably auto-detect the settings again, because apparently I put anti-aliasing at high and I shouldn't. And it runs everything mostly at max. My computer is good, but not good enough, because this is running on the Unreal 4 engine, which is very strong, not counting the fact that I'm recording, and I want this to run at 60 FPS. Because I want you to get the best experience I can possibly give you. And if it's constantly dipping, that's no good. And we can adjust the brightness, but I feel like the brightness is good enough. This is, as you can see, a version 1.0. So this is, I guess, as close as release as we're going to get. Personally, I haven't found any major bugs. I did play this before, but I deleted my save so I can show you the intro sequence, which is pretty cool. And the intro sequence reminds me a lot of a game that I think most people played before, called Shadow of the Colossus. There's this whole intro of your main character. This is basically the story. You're the girl that's laying down there with her brother. Her brother got hurt, and you're going there to find supplies. And I haven't looked much into what's going on, why the world is completely submerged, because I wanted to experience the game as fresh as I could. But basically, as far as I understand, there's no combat in this game. There are other creatures, but there's no combat, right? And basically you're going there to find supplies and everything, and there are like these crates around the area on top of buildings and everything. And seeing as this is from BioShock devs, it seems fitting that you would start out in a tower, right? This is a clock tower, not a lighthouse, but it's a tower nonetheless. And this game looks beautiful. Now, the game I mentioned that I wanted to draw some parallels from was Shadow of the Colossus, because on Shadow of the Colossus you start. This is literally the start of the Shadow of the Colossus, so there's no spoilers here. Basically, Wonder takes the princess to these old ruins, and this has that very same feeling, which I think it's great. I think it's a great feeling. And basically, we gotta take him inside, lay him to rest on that little place there. And it has a very Shadow of the Colossus feel. Also, the music is goddamn beautiful. I don't remember the name of the composer, doesn't come to my mind now, but it's still a goddamn beautiful game. The game also, drawing parallels to Fast that I'll do now, or I guess Wind Waker, there's this whole alphabet. You can translate that. I didn't pull a sheet or make a sheet of how to translate all those things, so I don't know what they say, but you can get the idea of it. Basically, they left their home so they could come here. There's also a journal in the game. As you can see, we can see the thing their family, mom and dad, and everything. There's also some things that will tell of the city that's submerged story, the creatures and the landmarks. As you can see, there are creatures in this game. I have met some. Can I actually climb this? I never really... I didn't try this last time. But basically what we need to do is we need to walk. We need to go to a nearby building. But now that I know that I can climb this, I kind of want to try. We cannot climb there. There are a couple of things that you can do to make it easier to find places. You saw those red flowers. If you saw those red flowers at the... I think you can... We'll probably see some in a second here. But at the front of the lighthouse, there was some red flowers. That's how you know where you need to go. Also the red banners. Basically, the things that have most contrast in the world. And this is mostly a exploration game, which frankly, I love about it. I love the aspect of exploration. I love games that let you explore, basically. And this just... Like, when I saw this game... I wanted to play it. It like called out to me. See that red banner there? That's where we need to go. However, you can find these small... journals, I guess, that tell a little about the story of the place you're at. So, you saw those red flowers on the top right there by the boat. Those are the things that will tell you where you need to go, essentially. It also tells you place you can go up, like over there. You can see right there. That's essentially where we're going next. I want to go... I played this again. I played about 20 minutes of this before. And I wanted to restart the game because I wanted to show you those parallels that I mentioned with Shadow of the Colossus. This is very Shadow of the Colossus-esque. Actually, you probably didn't hear anything because that's spoilers. And I don't want to spoil Shadow of the Colossus for you. But... Alright, now I want to explain the controls. As you can see, the mouse and keyboard, it's on the fly change. You can pretty much change the mouse and keyboard controls whenever you want. The keyboard controls honestly work fine from what I've seen so far, right? They work perfectly. Also, I heard a whale. I kind of want... See? There are creatures around the world. I don't know if the whale can knock you off the boat or anything. I haven't been able to be knocked off the boat yet. So I guess we'll see. The Lioness Hotel. Now, from what I've experienced so far, there's not really much in a way of fail states. Some would argue that would make this not a game, but I wouldn't agree with that. I think the exploration aspects are really strong. There's something that we'll get later on that will make those exploration aspects even stronger. This is essentially a collectathon, right? A collectathon without combat. Some would argue that's a point against the game, but I wouldn't say that. Basically what we collect in this game are these crates, this, I guess, chests, which contain supplies, and we collect these journal entries, basically, because as you can see, this tells a bit about the series story, and there's a lot of story to cover. There's a lot of things to gather. And again, this is just something you gotta take in. And when I get to the top of the tower, I'll go through. As you can see, the red petals show you there's red flowers nearby. However, there does seem to be a secret here, which is a journal. As you can see, there's plenty of stuff. Without the alphabet, I can't really tell you exactly what's going on. However, it's interesting nonetheless. I'm sure as you gather more and more stuff, like more and more journal entries, the story of the city becomes more clear. Because so far we know that there was a fissure in the land under the sea, and that caused the land to flood. Like, that's mostly what we can gather. And there was sun. So maybe there were lots of storms and then the sun come out. We can't really tell for sure. I'm having some trouble here, but it's not major. Like, all things considered, the controls are fine. At least from my point of view, I haven't run into many control problems. Maybe there's some mechanics later that might introduce some problems, but I personally, from what I've seen, the game seems very contained. It's just, this game is about the story, from what I've gathered from my brief moments with the game, and that's just fine with me. Again, as I said during, as I'll say during one of my Croc videos, the games don't need to be like crazy innovative. Some games just need to be entertaining and fun. And from what I've personally gathered from this, that's exactly what they are. And it seems that every time you grab a crate, you get teleported back to this place, which I wouldn't say it's a bad thing at all, because this is kind of like the center of everything, so you always have somewhere to go, right? I have seen kind of a sign of an antagonist in this game. Apparently I'm going to guess that her father was a fisherman from that picture. I think that's accurate enough. So the pictures aren't vague enough that you don't it's not like Fast levels of vague, you know, because in Fast you're left wondering what's going on, you know. You can kind of infer, but it's very, very vague and obscure. Now, we unlocked the second thing, which is this. This is the... I forgot the name. But it's basically, I think it's called a telescope. I think that's the word, or a periscope. No, periscope is the one from submarines. Now we know where there's another thing that we can go to grab, so as long we can use this to find other places to go to. Now, I don't know how draw distance affects this, but you always, as long as you use it when you get to the top of some place, you'll be fine. You'll find something else to do, and it will be marked on your map. As you can see, it's marked right there. It shows where north is. There does seem to be a border, as you can see on the corners there. There does seem to be a border to this world. I don't know how the border works. I guess I could check before we end the video. But there does seem to be a border to the world, so we can't just go infinitely to the places. This upgrades to the engine will help me be able to boost for longer. So, and it helps with exploration. It makes it faster, a lot faster. This is the place that we need to go to. So we're gonna, what you do essentially is you go around looking for the red flowers to tell you this is where you can climb it. However, the exploration aspect of this specifically is really cool because it shows that not every place will have just one set path that you have to take. Also, climbing is really fast. I think climbing in this is really cool because it's really fast. Like, if climbing was slow, I would have some problems with it, but it's really quick, so I really enjoy it. And now you see, there's that thing there, just climbing. You see that some places, that thing there. I don't know what that is. And frankly, it terrifies me a little bit. Maybe that's sort of antagonists, because it seems to just follow you around. We'll see him more as we progress through this building. And you don't know what he's about. And a lot of ways to... One of the best ways to, like... I wouldn't say terrify, but to make a player tense is to not explain what's chasing you is. And the thing is chasing you, believe me. We'll see him. We'll see signs of him, like, everywhere. Now, remember when I said that there was a aspect that you don't have to actually go one way? This is shown right here. There are... It's kind of like a Zelda dungeon. You can go separate ways to find, like, pieces of heart in a dungeon. Or a Skulltula, for example. But ultimately, there's only one right way to go, right? That's essentially how Zelda dungeons work. Ultimately, there's only one right way to go to find what you need. However, you can go around to find small pieces of collectibles. So this should, if my memory serves me right, take us to a book. And this book will tell a bit about the story of the game. I don't remember if we see that thing again. I haven't looked up. But we'll see that thing more. Believe me, trust me. So let's see how the story progresses so far. So things started to grow underwater. So there was probably a vortex, then the sun came out. We don't know exactly what's going on with the city and why the world is entirely submerged yet. Although we have seen some... We know that the world is not empty. Because we know there was her village. And there are these creatures moving around. So we know the world is not empty. Now, I want to talk a bit about the climbing in this. Unlike, for example, Assassin's Creed, which is probably the best example I can give right now. Like, it's the most popular, at least. Assassin's Creed, the climbing is not... It's not like the best climbing, right? Because you can, for example, point the camera in one direction and jump just down. It happens sometimes. If you played Assassin's Creed, you probably screwed up a jump because the camera screwed you over. At least once you probably did that. Which is just Assassin's Creed in a nutshell. Sometimes here also you can't really tell where you can go, but as long as you see, oh, the flower is there, so I should probably try going there. So that's not much of a problem. But with Assassin's Creed, sometimes you can screw up jumps. I don't feel like I screwed up a jump here. The climbing is, again, very solid. See that thing again? It's right there. And it just disappears. It's creepy. Like, you might not be scared by that. Like, where did it go? Did it go inside the building? Can you actually go inside the buildings? Did it... Like, you can. You as the player can. Maybe the creature can. I don't know. Maybe it jumped down. Maybe there are multiple creatures. We don't know. Again, it's something you have to experience through the game. And it's something I haven't really been explained yet. But I'm guessing we'll get to the bottom of it eventually. And you get all these scenic shots of the world around you. It's just beautiful. Also, I should probably show you guys. You can actually use this when you're holding on. And when you're close to something that you can mark on your map. So now I have another place to go Besides exploring and finding places to climb, I now know where another supply crate is. And when it gets close to something, it will mark, like, oh, there will be this arrow next to the map. So it doesn't really leave you stranded, which I think is a good thing, because collectathons that leave you stranded, to me, they just... It's just not... No, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I can go back. Okay. Oh, I was scared there for a second. I thought the creature was supposed to appear there. I guess I missed it. But the creature does appear. It just goes around the corner and disappears again. Which, one more time, I find terrifying. Because you don't know what the creature is about. You don't know if it's friendly, hostile. You don't know anything about it. You just know that the creature is there. So this is for more pieces of the journal, which, again, I haven't explained a lot, but I think it's... Look! Again! It just jumps down. I think it's on purpose, so they don't, like, just outright spell out the story for you. You gotta, like, figure it out as you go along. If they just outright tell you what happens, it's not really interesting, now is it? Huh. So this is where we needed to go. And this is where we were before, where I climbed the zipline. So if we grab this, we take it back to the camp, I'm pretty sure. And from what I understand, every time you grab something, like every time you grab a supply, it might not be true for the future. It might not be true. See, the creature's there again. We don't know what it's all about, but we know it's there. And every time you grab something, it appears, it changes something on the base, on the clock tower, from what I understand. Well, the kid seems to be feeling a little better, at least. From what you can tell from that story, as you can see, the mom... They also have their own language, as you can probably hear. The mom got lost at sea and drowned, I'm guessing. That's the story so far. Now we need to get something. I'm going to guess that it doesn't matter where you get the crates from. You always get them in order. And it's really an interesting prospect. Now I'm going to go to the next location. It will be something new for me to find. And I'll see you guys there. It's probably for the best. If I see anything interesting, I'll show you guys. Alright, since we got to our next location, and I'm just going to climb and see if I can get that thing. Like, more stuff will appear. And every place has a name too, which seems really cool. As far as I've seen so far, it doesn't seem like it's based on around like real world locations. And it has its own made up language and everything, so maybe we can get the creature to appear more. That's basically what I'm going to see here. But let's summarize as we go. And this music, oh god. Let's summarize as we go along what we got so far. There are certain parallels that you can draw. I'm going to guess that we need to go there since there's more flowers there and there's no flowers here. We can't go up anymore. This is not one of the platforms that we can go up from. I'm going to guess that there are some parallels that we can draw from Shadow of the Colossus with the story, with the way that Wonder takes the princess and he accepts there's, as far as I've seen, there's no real deity to this world. It's just her and her brother, and she needs to make her brother, to heal her brother, essentially. I'm trying to look places and see if I can find that creature again. It would be cool if you could just, like, sometimes just see the creature from, like, the corner of your eyes and stuff. It's a really cool feature, I feel like. The creature adds, like, even though there's no combat in this game, that creature adds a feeling of tension to the game. You know what I mean? And I think that's great. From now, I'm just gonna go... I'm gonna try and go straight for the crate in this place. So hopefully I can get there relatively soon. Now going back to our conclusion, we can draw some parallels with Shadow of the Colossus, also fast with the way the story is presented, you know? We can add some parallels to that. I think it's really cool that it has its own alphabet that you can actually translate if you take your time to do it. I think that's a really cool feature. And I keep trying to see that creature again. And there's this whole feeling of tension that you're being followed by that creature, you know? Which I think adds a whole new layer to this game, that even though there's no combat and some people might not like that, it makes up for the no combat thing, you know, because you want to understand what's going on, why that creature is following you and everything. At least that's, again, my personal opinion. You might not agree with it. Maybe for you combat is everything, and if a game there's no combat in it, you might not like that, which it's something I completely understand. Like, I love shooters, I love Payday and everything, but I also love, you know, games just for exploration. And this game has heaps of it, apparently, because there's, as shown before, there's like a ton of things to grab. Not only, like, to explain, the story will probably progress as we go along, but the city story, we need to find the journals, we need to find the creatures and the landmarks. And not only that, we need to find parts for the boat. I'm going to guess I could grab that story part, but I'm trying to progress this to see if I find the creature again. We'll probably end after I grab the crate and everything. Now, in regards to the conclusion, in regards to the controls work as well as you can expect them to. This controls, for me personally, beautifully, both with the controller and the keyboard. It works perfectly with the keyboard. In fact, I'm gonna continue this forth with the keyboard. The mouse moves the camera, WASD for movement, T to pull out the telescope. I guess that way it's T, it's a telescope. And J to open the journal, and M for the map. You can also change the sensitivity if you want. There's the crate. I haven't seen the creature yet, or at all. I don't quite understand how the music cues work. Do they work when the creature sees me? You can't run, you can't jump at all. But it doesn't need to be that way, you know? So we grab this, and we're gonna see what it is. Water. We needed something to drink, and we got water. Now there are two creatures, so we know there's more than one, for sure. And they are watching us. We don't know what they want, but they are watching us. And now there's food on the floor. It's really cool, like how the environment changes as you go along. There seems to be some form of religion, though, because she was praying for her brother to get better. Maybe that will be explained as the story goes along. Her father turned to drinking. He used to get drunk a lot and go fish. Yeah, so personally, I'm really enjoying this story as it is now. And I really want to see a conclusion to this. Now let's get our last thoughts on this. We already did our conclusion. Now we need food. Okay. Basically, I think this game is great. The price they're asking is $20, which I think it's fine for what the game gives, like a bunch of collectibles that you can get. If no combat turns you off from it, that's fine. That's like your choice. But I still think you should at least give this game a try. Because, first of all, the game looks gorgeous. The Unreal 4 engine is amazing, and the game looks absolutely gorgeous. There's not many games like this around anymore. Collectathons are all but dead. Like, we're getting a revival now with Ukulele and everything, but collectathons are pretty much dead. And we don't get games like this, so this is in a way a pretty unique game. I didn't find anything there because I didn't look. But I'm sure if I did, I would probably find someplace else to go. But just because I didn't find another crate doesn't mean that there's nowhere else for me to go. For example, I can see right there. I can go there. And from there, I can go someplace tall enough, or I can go to the top of the clock tower and look around. So you're never gonna be stuck in a place where you don't know where to go. I can see as the game progresses, you might not know. It does show on the map if you've seen it, but I think the grayed out ones might be the ones you collected. I'm pretty sure. But I can see if you progress long enough, you might not find, some items might be hard to find. But I think that's a cool aspect that, I mean, most, like Zelda games does that. If you, for example, the bugs, you have to look everywhere. And that's, I guess, if you don't have patience for that, that's what guides are for, right? But again, this game is gonna be $20 when it's released on Steam and Xbox and PS4. I can't tell you how the console versions will be because I don't have the consoles and I can't test them out. But the PC version seems to work fine. It keeps a steady 60 frames per second in my computer with the settings I have now. Right? It keeps a steady FPS with the settings I have now. And it does... If I put it on Ultra... In fact, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put everything on the max. View distance max, max, ultra, high, ultra, ultra, apply. The FPS dropped to 40. Some people are okay with 30 FPS, right? And I feel like I'm okay with playing this way. Because of the graphics, you don't really notice that much of a difference. But it's a beautiful game. It's just a goddamn beautiful game. If you want to get it, it's available on Steam and the Humble Store and Xbox Live Marketplace and the PSN Store. All links will be in the description. Hello. I realized I had to show you guys the border of the world, and we see some dolphins now. Look how cool that is. Anyway, when you reach the border, you can kind of go like outside of the border, as you can see, but eventually you're forced to turn. See, maybe if I had more boost, I could go a little further, but eventually I'd be forced to turn anyway. Which, to be fair, I'm kind of cool with. Look, that's a manta ray. That's cool. So there's a lot of cool creatures around this part. Anyway, I'm kind of cool with just having to turn away, because there's a lot of things that I think in a game should go unsaid, which is just her conscience wouldn't allow her to leave, so she just turns around. I think that's more a me thing than anything else. Anyway, now that I showed you guys how the border of the world works, there's a lot of cool stuff like this bridge. I want to show you guys one more thing. The silver pass. I didn't mean to actually activate that, but there's a really cool radio tower over there that I want to show you guys. There's birds too, but birds don't seem to count as creatures, which I find weird. There's a really cool radio tower that I want to show you guys there. You guys see over there? There's a really cool radio tower that I also can't wait to climb. That's it then for this video. I'll see you guys next time. Later!